This video is all about coral spawning. I'm going to show you what I found in the ocean floor. Coral reproduction through spawning is a fascinating and synchronized natural event involving the mass release of eggs and sperm into the water. This process ensures genetic diversity and the wide distribution of coral larvae. Here's a detailed look at how it works. Timing and synchronization. Environmental cues. Coral spawning is usually triggered by a combination of environmental cues such as temperature, lunar cycles, tides, and the length of daylight. Specific timing. Many coral species spawn once a year, typically after a full moon. The precise timing varies by species and location, but it generally occurs in late spring to early fall. Preparation. Gamete development. Corals prepare for spawning by developing gametes, eggs and sperm, within their tissues over several months. Budding gametes. These gametes are typically stored in small sacs within the coral polyps. Spawning event mass release. During the spawning event, corals release their gametes simultaneously. This synchronized release is crucial for maximizing the chances of fertilization. Broadcast spawning. Most reef-building corals are broadcast spawners, releasing both eggs and sperm into the water column. The gametes float to the surface, where fertilization occurs. Colorful display. The release can create a spectacular underwater display, with clouds of gametes forming colorful patterns in the water. Fertilization and larval development. Fertilization. Once released, eggs and sperm meet in the water to form zygotes. Fertilized eggs develop into free-swimming larvae, called planulae. These larvae drift with the currents for days to weeks, during which they develop and disperse over a wide area. Settlement. Finding a home. When ready, the planulae settle onto a suitable substrate, such as a rock or the dead skeleton of other corals. Metamorphosis. The planulae undergo metamorphosis, transforming into polyps. These polyps then begin to grow and form new coral colonies through asexual reproduction, such as budding. Significance genetic diversity. Spawning promotes genetic diversity within coral populations, which is vital for resilience to environmental changes and diseases. Reef formation. Successful settlement and growth of coral larvae contribute to the formation and expansion of coral reefs, which are crucial marine ecosystems. Challenges and conservation. Environmental threats. Climate change, pollution, and other human activities threaten coral spawning events by altering environmental cues and increasing stress on coral reefs. Conservation efforts. Efforts to protect coral reefs include reducing carbon emissions, managing coastal development, and restoring damaged reefs through initiatives like coral gardening and artificial reef structures. Coral spawning is a remarkable natural phenomenon that plays a critical role in maintaining healthy and diverse coral reef ecosystems. Detailed process of coral spawning. Environmental cues and synchronization temperature. Corals are highly sensitive to temperature changes. A rise in sea temperature to a certain threshold is one of the primary triggers for spawning. Lunar cycle. The lunar cycle plays a crucial role, with most coral spawning occurring shortly after a full moon. The increased light from the full moon is thought to help synchronize the release of gametes. Day length. Changes in the length of daylight over the seasons also help corals determine the right time for spawning. Tidal patterns. Tidal changes, especially low tides at night, can help reduce the chances of gamete predation, increasing the likelihood of successful fertilization. Pre-spawning preparation. Gamete development. Corals develop gametes within their tissues in preparation for spawning. Hermaphroditic corals produce both eggs and sperm, while gonochoric corals produce either eggs or sperm. Polyp behavior. In the days leading up to the spawning event, you can often see the coral polyps swelling as the gametes mature and move closer to the surface of the coral tissue. The spawning event. Release mechanism. Corals use a coordinated release mechanism to ensure that gametes are released simultaneously. This synchronization is critical to avoid having the gametes eaten by predators or diluted too much in the water. Color and fluorescence. During spawning, some corals exhibit bioluminescence or fluorescence, creating a stunning visual display. This may help attract gametes to each other in the water column. Post-spawning events. Fertilization. Zygote formation. Once eggs and sperm meet in the water, they form zygotes. The fertilization process is external and occurs in the open water. Planula larvae. The zygotes develop into planula larvae, which are tiny, free-swimming organisms that drift with ocean currents.
Good job.
Very nice. Very nice.